And as we were kind of kicking around bad ideas, I was thinking, well, maybe it's time to like start talking, start lighting up some venture capitalists. And, I wanted to go back to I'd known VCs over the years, but needed to go kind of remind myself of them and maybe get some lunches or whatever. And I went back to the mail from a VC, actually a pretty famous VC, and he and I would get lunch together with some regularity. And the last email that he had sent me was, hey, really enjoyed lunch. Just wanted to remind you that I will fund literally anything you put in front of me.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. So Steve, I got this mail and, he's going to fund anything. They're going to fund anything we put in front of them. Maybe we should solve the problem that we actually want to solve. And the ideas that we had been kicking around were frankly small ball. They were small problems that felt like startup size problems. But if we have got an opportunity to raise money for anything we wanted to go do, the problem that we actually wanted to go solve together was the one that we were suffering with every day inside of the walls of Joyent and then Samsung, which is the infrastructure that we were building a cloud on out of commodity gear, Dell, HPE, Supermicro, had no end of problems, plagued by problems that we simply could not solve because we did not control that layer of the stack. And if you look at what Google and Facebook, now Meta, Microsoft, Amazon have done for themselves, the machines that they were building for themselves looked nothing like the machines that we were trying to build a cloud on. Mm. And I'm like, Steve, if we can actually get anything funded, we should go start a computer company. And I just remember, vividly in Steve's office being like, do you think we could get wow, do you think we could? It was almost like, do we have permission to go do that? Because obviously we should go do that. Steve had spent, a decade prior to his decade at Joyent, had spent a decade at Dell. And so, he and I coming up on the go-to-market side. So we felt like, boy, if we can go do this, let's go do it. And the thing that's really funny is that we kind of started to formulate this and started to reach out to VCs and talk about it. And what we learned pretty early is that this is wildly contrarian, but intriguing to VCs. In some ways, this is the worst possible thing for VCs because VCs always want to know more, but it requires a boldness that can be hard for venture capital to summon. So it's easy to have long conversations that lead to ultimately not getting across the finish line. But folks were intrigued and great. So the irony is that I talking to a bunch of different venture capitalists, getting a bunch of enthusiasm for it, and then finally went back to that VC that had sent the email that honestly sent us down the path for Oxide. And I call him up and I get maybe a minute into kind of describing the problem that we were going to solve. He's like, wait a minute, Bryan, I'm going to stop you. I see where this is going. Please tell me you're not going to start a computer company. I'm like, no, that's exactly what we're going to do. He's like, no, absolutely not. No, no, I want nothing to do with this. And I'm like, you sent me this email saying you'd fund, quote, literally anything I put in front of you. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. No, definitely not.
Oh, wow.